Hey, this is John from Scour, Nest, and 100 other bands, and you're listening to a Vulgar Display of Podcast.
Welcome to the Vulgar Display of Podcast, fellas. How's it going?
Doing good.
Got Dale here. What's up, Dale?
What's up?
Fawn.
What's up?
Got a special guest online right now. The hardest working. We've deemed him.
Yes.
The hardest working man in metal.
Yes.
We have John Jarvis from Scour. Next, I mean, you could sit here. We'd be here all day if we're listing your resume. John, what's up, man?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Hell yeah. Thanks for coming on.
St. Louis guy too.
Yes.
Ripping.
Back home now, actually, too.
Hell yeah. Ripping the hometown.
Raised in the area?
Yeah, Troy, Illinois.
Awesome.
And so was Adam. And we, of course, grew up jamming in bands. And once he joined Misery Index, he moved to Baltimore. And then, about 8 years ago, I moved there, too. And probably about 2019, I came back. I had this big tour booked. It was going to be a local St. Louis band was on the tour, actually. Lion's Daughter.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they're great.
Nice.
So you know who Goblin is?
Goblin. No.
So they're like Italian horror films from the 70s. Suspiria. They did the soundtrack.
Oh,
So
okay.
they were like headlining festivals. They played like Psycho Las Vegas, the Housecore Horror Fest, and sometimes they do the film's soundtrack live while the film's playing. It was pretty cool.
Oh, that's
Nice.
That's cool.
Anyway,
yeah.
they're this legendary band. Anyway, and they were going to headline this tour, and it was going to be the greatest thing ever. And of course, it was like in September of 2020.
Oh no.
And this was the third time I booked this fucking thing because they had to cancel it for health reasons before, which was understandable. But they were ready to go until 2020 happened. And of course, I was going to make a bunch of money. That was the plan. And
It's always the plan, right?
Yeah.
yeah, right. Yeah, and I was going to actually try to buy a house around here. But yeah, that plan fell
to shit.
apart.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Goblin still has no plans coming over to America because it's too difficult to do still.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I'm back. And once I got back, I started my own band, Nest.
So Nest is you're I would say traditionally a bass player. It seems like most of the projects that you're involved in or have been involved in, you play bass, but this one you've switched over to guitar and vocals.
Right. So when it started, it was me and my buddy Tim Haar. And how old are you guys? Who's the oldest one of you guys?
41.
41-ish.
Yeah.
And I'm
So
37.
you might know this band then. Have you ever heard of Eli Stone?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So me and Timmy went to grade school together, and we were the two guys that were like into metal when we were in like 6th grade. So we were the first ones that got guitars and jammed together and started bands together. So when I moved back, I hit up Timmy, and he was an Eli Stone. So, and they were a pretty big deal for those that have never heard of them.
Oh, yeah.
In the St. Louis area, and during the new metal days, they like opened for Fear Factory.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they were the local band.
Mhm.
Played Pops
So-
a million times.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
seen them at the Extreme Metal Hoedown
Yeah.
at
Right,
Riverport.
the
Yep.
Extreme
Yeah.
They
Hoedown.
were always the
Sick.
opening band.
Man, there were so many cool. I was there. There was a lot of bands there that day. But yeah, so you guys know who I'm talking about. So it was me
Yeah.
and Timmy, and he was on guitar, and the idea was I was just going to be the singer. So because I don't have a band where I'm just the front man. So we were looking for bass players in like the end of 2019, right when I moved back. And then finally, I'm just like, screw it, I'll play the bass.
Yeah.
So we
I
found-
can do this.
we
I'm the
found-
hardest working man in metal. Let me grab that.
Right. Let's just cut to the chase. So we started jamming, and we had a drummer, and things were going fine. And then it was February of 2020. He's a manager of this place, and he's like, man, everyone at work's got this flu, and I can't make it to practice. And then the band just kind of fell apart from there. But I was like, I can just, because at that point he wrote the 3 songs we were working on.
Mm-hmm.
And he was already saying, no, maybe I should write some songs. So I had this guitar laying around, and I was like, fuck it. Because that's when we're stuck inside for months and months.
Right.
And that's when I wrote 2 or 3 records just in that time, in that year. And just for the band. And that's when I decided to move to guitar. That was my original instrument.
With Nest, you have a split that's out on all the music platforms. All the songs kind of 2 minutes or less, I think it seems like. I mean, you get through them and you get through them quick.
Right, yeah, straight to the point with Nest, trying to keep them short, catchy, kind of, maybe you could headbang to it, remember some of the riffs. And that was kind of the idea, and I just kind of try to take my favorite parts of certain, all my favorite genres of music,
Sure.
all my favorite, especially the extreme, heavier stuff. But, just try to mix it all up. And yeah, it's been fun to do. And it's really what I've been most active doing the last couple of years. I mean, all my bands have little things going on here and there, but I'm constantly working on Nest. So it's been fun.
And I got a couple, if we're talking St. Louis references. So we're actually from the Farmington, Missouri area, south of St. Louis, good ways.
Uh-huh.
GTP-INC.
Oh my God! Of course.
So I was Lebowski on there. I wasn't too active. I was more kind of what they call like a creeper or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, man, I remember you.
Yeah,
I remember
Holy
you.
shit!
Yeah. So that's actually how, and it was actually your cousin Adam that kind of came across my radar. But I know you were on there too, because I remember you kind of talking about Adam, and I think at that point he had joined Misery Index, and I was like, holy cow. Mm-hmm. St.
Right.
Louis guy and Misery Index is a big deal. So that's actually how sort of you and your cousin kind of came across on my radar back in the day.
Wow. So yeah, GTP was early days. I mean, I don't want to say the early days of the internet. I mean, but it was
It
the early days of
Yeah.
kids talking about metal on the internet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like I would Google like Mike Patton, and then I found I'm on a message board still to this day from back then. It used to be called the PRP board.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yep. Mhm.
Pimp Rock Palace.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Well, that's obviously still going as a news thing now.
Yeah.
But it used to be the underground board that was, kind of like a worldwide GTP, basically, is what it was.
Yeah.
I forgot all about GTP until I read it on there.
Yeah, GTP,
yeah,
man.
That's a blast.
It was fun because it's actually Scour's got a connection thanks to GTP. Mark was in Cast the Stone.
Okay.
That's Mark and Derek's band from Scour.
Okay.
There was their local band, and I saw them, and I was big fans of them, and I talked about them on GTP, and everyone on GTP was like, yes, we've seen them, we all love them. It was kind of usually GTP, you couldn't get anyone to agree on anything, but yeah, it was a great platform back then for local bands to like network, do shows, and a lot of those guys are still playing shows in town, man, like the Fister guys. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
actually, they're all like Lions Dar guys were on there.
Yeah, St. Louis had a scene back then, and it seemed like, and if you had to guess how many times you've played the Creepy Crawl, what would that number be?
I don't know. I used to actually live across the street from it. So
Oh God! So you play in a different band with it every night at Creepy Crawl?
I didn't know. I think the only band I ever know, I got to say there's 2 bands. Dope Rig, I think, played there, but All Will Fall was my band that played there all the time. And we opened up for like the extreme metal shows, like the Dying Fetus shows, and Malevolent Creation. And that's how Adam got to know, because All Will Fall played with Misery Index, and Kevin Talley was the drummer at the time, and he got the offer to join, I think it was Candiria, and asked Adam to fill in for him to do this tour. And back then he actually had to do a VHS cassette himself playing the songs.
Oh, wow.
And then overnight it to Misery Index.
Oh, wow.
Wow!
to like
times
get
have
the
changed.
gig.
Yeah, we're dating ourselves
Yeah,
there.
we're definitely ourselves at VHS. Like, holy cow!
But it was thanks to those shows at the Creepy Crawl that they even knew who he was,
And just kind of thinking back to those times, do you ever sit back and sort of pinch yourself on what you've been able to accomplish in that time frame, and some of the people that you're in bands with, and some of the festivals and shows that you play?
Well, yeah. I mean, just the other day when I was sitting watching Down at Hellfest. I don't know if you guys watched that.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So, I'm watching that live and I'm like, shit, I can't believe I played there a couple times. You know what I mean?
Right.
Agoraphobic Nosebleed played there once, and then Scour played there. When Scour played there, I remember when we were setting up, I was on the side of the stage and I was kind of getting pumped up for the show, and I was looking at the ground, kind of zoning out and reminiscing, being like, holy shit, I can't believe I'm about to,
Yeah.
play in front of a sold out. We're going to do Pantera songs and it's going to be fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And I remember I looked up and it was the singer of Cold Chamber was looking at me, and I was looking at him and I kind of gave him like a glaze, stare, I'm about to go fuck shit up. And he kind of looked at me like, whoa, and gave me this he started getting excited for the show.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing Cold Chamber back at the Galaxy. You know
Oh, yeah.
what I mean?
Oh, yeah, man.
Back in the day, they were a big
Yes,
deal.
They were huge.
Another great
I'm
venue,
thinking-
the Galaxy.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, so many great shows there. Deftones, Dredge. I saw Limp Bizkit there. Fuck, seen them all there. But yeah, it was kind of like, I can't believe the guy from Cold Chamber's watching me play Pantera songs.
Yeah, he's staring at me right now.
In France, and it's just, that type of shit's wild, man.
I always kind of likened it like if the 16-year-old self could see myself now as a 41-year-old.
Yeah.
And I can't even imagine what it's feeling, what it's like with you.
To be on that
Right.
stage.
Well, yeah. Well, imagine if I was on GTP saying, "Guess what, guys?
Yeah. Guess what I did?
Guess what I'm going to do someday."
Yeah, right.
You'd think I was crazy. But yeah, it's really an honor, man. And Phil's really the most easygoing guy out of all my bands. He's honest about everything he wants to do. He'll let you know if he doesn't want to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Communication's great. He's easy to work with. It's been great.
And for those that don't know, the Phil that you're referencing is the Phil. It's that guy. Yeah. Scour is fronted by Phil Anselmo. And I think for our podcast and the Vulgar Display of podcast, what we need to know is how litigious is Phil? Is he the suey type? Is he going to sue us for the namesake?
I mean, he didn't really write. I mean, they obviously named the record that, but he took that from something, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That was a reference from something. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's going to sue you guys.
Okay.
No. He's a laid back dude.
Great.
Good deal. Yeah.
I think he's doing all right.
Yeah. I think he's doing all right.
And Scour, what's the status with Scour? I know you have the 3 EPs, and it sounds like that trilogy is kind of completed with the Black EP. Is there a full album in the works, or is that something we can expect in the future?
Right. That was the plan all along. And, we wanted to build the band up and with the EP trilogy. And yeah, the plan is we've been working on the songs for the full length for a couple of years now. And, we're trying to just finish that up, and you just got to take it one step at a time, really. So it's, you can never say, you don't want to start pumping out like, oh, we're in the studio making the record, because then people start expecting it in 6 months, you know what I mean?
Banging on your door saying, where's this album at?
Right.
Is it kind of a day-by-day thing or a week-by-week thing? And, with all these different people that you collaborate with or in bands with, they have a lot of other things going on, too. So is it hard to schedule things and kind of timeline and time frame things?
Yeah, it is. It usually starts with, a promoter being interested in booking us. And then it gets to, all right, are we interested in doing this? And then it gets to, all right, is Misery Index playing in Indonesia? We got to figure out if Derek's, he's trying out for bands and he's got a lot of stuff going on. And of course, Mark's in Misery Index. They just got back from Hellfest and they're constantly touring. And so, but when the big guy says, all right, I want to do this.
Yeah. Y'all all like, okay. Yeah.
And we're like,
let's make it time.
We haven't said no yet.
Yeah.
It'd be hard to say, nah.
Yeah, I'm good, buddy. Yeah, I'm good.
Right.
Feels like I want to make a record. Nah.
Yeah.
I'll try to fit it in, maybe.
Yeah, I got something else going on. I got a different project going right now.
Right. Yeah, but the beauty is, I was just at his house a couple weeks ago because Nest played in Mobile, Alabama, and then we played New Orleans, and crashed at his house and chatted with him all day. And he's doing good, looking good. and he's pumped about Scour. That's what makes me really excited. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because he doesn't have to be. You know,
Right.
he doesn't.
Right.
He doesn't need Scour.
Yeah. Yeah. He had a band that was kind of known in its time.
Yeah.
A few
So
of
he's
those.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So it's just an honor, and it's a trip, but it's also the fact that he's like, send me songs, come on, you know,
Right.
like
All that hard work's
what are you guys
paying
waiting
off.
right. So yeah,
Yes.
that's what the next step is for us. Try to finish that record up, and there's always a lot of show offers coming in, and we might do one coming up in a few months, but it's just at a might point, you know what I mean? So it's like fingers are crossed, and it's just I'm glad that he's even interested in it. We almost got on fucking Hellfest, to be honest. It was
wow.
really close.
Nice. Damn.
Dang.
We tried, but I wanted to play the weekend with Metallica and Guns N' Roses, the one that's coming up.
Yeah.
But that would have made everyone have to stick around for way too long. You know what I mean?
How does that work with, like, let's say Scour and recording and doing stuff? Obviously, you guys are spread out throughout the nation or wherever. Do you guys just do you get together like virtually? Do you actually try to commute and meet up, or how does that typically work with either Scour or any of your other bands?
Well, with Scour, we'd all have to fly in. It's usually to Phil's house because he's got the lair out there. It's this little studio, and they're upgrading it right now. They're like remodeling it, making it bigger, nicer. It's already way nicer than it was last time I was out there last year with Scour when we did the stream. But when we're doing the record, it always starts with Derek because he's writing the songs, and basically once it gets past like all of us saying, all right, these songs will work, and Phil likes them, and he starts writing the songs. Once Phil sends us the lyrics, and his vocals, that's when we add our backing vocals, because Derek and I sing on every song. And from that point, it just goes to the mixing and mastering. So it's all been done pretty much digitally up to this point. But what we want to do this time, or what we've at least talked about, is having, the songs prepared and rehearsed in advance, and then actually going into a room and rehearsing like a real band before the recording, which we haven't done yet. Like most bands, do, or I don't know, everyone does things differently these days. But that's the way we've been doing it, and it's been working. It's nice to be able to because I got my own setup where I can record vocals or guitar or bass anytime. So it doesn't make sense to fly or drive down to his house just to record my vocals or bass.
Sure.
Even though it'd be fun.
Yeah. Right.
Round trip in my van down there is $400. So
Shoo.
I could just record it in my room for now. You know what I mean?
Way easier.
I hear
Yeah.
ya.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, it'd be nice to just go down there and knock it out in a few weeks. And I hope that's what we do. But we'll see.
Thinking about and talking about the Black EP, you had a special guest, a feature that was a little surprising to me when I seen it. Was Jason Momoa's on the track on the first single, Doom. I know he's a metal guy, but I didn't know he got that metal.
Yeah. He medals.
Right. So it started with the Final Slayer tour. The Final Slayer show was in LA, and Phil and the Illegals were opening up, and Derek and Jason hit it off backstage.
Nice.
And exchanged phone numbers. And when Phil sent the songs over for the Black EP, that's when me and Derek we make our own notes separately. We listen to it. I mean, I listened to it 100 times. I just over and over all day. It's like Christmas morning, seriously, when Phil sends the Scour record over.
Yeah.
I'm just so excited. I can't wait to hear it. And it usually just blows my mind. And actually, every time it's blowing my mind. But anyway, that's when we decide, like, all right, we need this part. I'll do this part. Derek's like, it'd be best for you to do this part. But at the end of that song, we're like, we need someone to let out just a huge, long scream. But let's get a guest. And we always throw out a bunch of crazy names. And I said, well, what about Momoa? And he thought, what? And he
That's called Aquaman.
Like, that's a crazy
right.
name.
Yeah. That is a crazy name to throw out.
He did some vocal lessons with Archspire or somebody. Anyway, I was reading about it. I was like, well, he could scream, obviously. And since they were hitting, I was like, why don't you just text them and see and send them the song and see what he says. And while we were talking on the phone, he did it. And then he was like, "Oh my God, the bubble's up!" Like you could see that
He's
Momoa's
replying. Jason Momoa's texting me back.
Right.
Hold on,
And we're
guys. I
sitting
gotta
like,
take this.
we're like, holy shit, you know. And then he's like, he totally is down to do it.
Oh,
And
wow.
Fuck yeah, that's great.
he ended up having to record it outside through a gate because of all the COVID protocols at the time. So we were shocked that he even did it, but he went and he did it, and it sounded killer. So
Nailed it.
Yeah, and I seen that it was featuring him. I'm like,
what?
am I reading that right?
Is this a misprint?
Yeah, because you see features sometimes or special
Right.
guests, but like that was like you said, Aquaman.
Yeah, Aquaman's on this track.
yeah, I mean, when he was sharing our videos, like he's got like 15 million followers. Or
Oh
something,
yeah, I
you know,
believe it. Yeah,
it's like ridiculous.
A lot of
And
house
he's-
moms on those follows.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right. And you know, he's sharing our stuff and no one's they're like, what?
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, he did it and he did a great job promoting it and fucking he sounded killer.
Yeah,
So
that
I
is
mean,
killer. That's great.
if it sucked, it wouldn't have been on there. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
sure,
Right.
yeah.
But that same song had Rutan on it too. Eric Rutan
Yeah.
from Hate Eternal and
Yeah.
now he's in Cannibal Corpse.
One of these days, I want to try to go through your phone and just see all the numbers
Oh
that you got.
Yeah,
I talked about kind of like drunk dialing ex-girlfriends and stuff.
yeah.
Right.
We'll go through your phone and we'll just text all
Yeah,
the legends.
Everyone in bands. Yeah,
There's a couple that I'm proud of. There's the
absolutely.
strongest flex, honestly, is Chino. I got the Chino phone
Oh,
number. So
wow.
That is a good
And
flex.
That
it's
is good.
hard.
Yeah,
It's hard to not like. I even went to a Deftones show a couple weeks ago, and I was like, it's so hard to not just text Chino and be like, "I'm here, Chino."
yeah. Best friend. Hey, best friend.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And I only got it by accident. He called me on accident, and the
Damn.
weird part is I don't know how he got my phone number.
Yeah.
That's the weirdest part.
I think that's the bigger
I was
flex.
going to say he's
Right.
flexing. Yeah, he's flexing having your number.
So, yeah, I don't know, but
That's a bigger
it
flex
was a
than
weird
calling
thing.
you.
We were in New York, and I got a phone call, and he's like telling me. It starts with him just telling me that I got to get his backstage pass out of his pants, out of the laundry. And I'm like, who is this? And he's like, it's Chino.
Like
Jarvis is
bullshit.
Chino.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is John Jarvis. He goes, oh my God. So his tour manager was also named Jarvis.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh.
So he thought he was calling his tour manager, who I guess was doing his laundry at the time.
Right. You're like, I'll get your pants. I got pants.
Right.
What size
So
you wear,
like,
buddy?
Yeah, what size?
Right. Let me get you that backstage pass.
Yeah, I got one right here. So when you're ever by water or anything and your phone's about to fall into, you freak out like, no, I cannot lose my phone.
Oh, I got it backed up.
Yeah, Sarson, you gotta
Yes.
back that shit up.
Yes. Keep
Right.
those contacts.
So we're joined here by John Jarvis, Chino's best friend and
Right.
laundry assistant.
Laundry assistant, hardest working man in metal in 100 bands.
Yeah, John Jarvis, hardest working man in metal with Scour, Nest, Agoraphobic, Nosebleed, Vulgar, which we haven't even talked about. You want to tell us a little bit about what's going on with that?
Well, we do have kind of a secret record that's been being worked on. The House Course talked about perhaps putting out. I highly suggest checking it out because I'm proud of everything we put out. It's a great band, and I hope we kind of get it active at some point again.
Can't let you get out of here without talking about your IMDb page.
Yeah.
So not only are you the hardest working man in metal, but making some appearances too.
Uh-huh.
How did that happen?
Well, I was working the door at the Auto Bar in Baltimore, which is like really cool metal club. They have a bunch of great bands that go through there. It was actually like top 10, Rolling Stone named it top 10 venues in the country.
Wow.
So it's a nice place. But working the door, and a bunch of people from HBO walked in one day, and they were like, they told me we're looking for some real Baltimore punks.
And you go, I'm from St. Louis.
Yeah. But Hollywood
Well,
don't know.
They weren't asking me to be, because they knew I wasn't. I have gel in my hair. I don't look like I'm a punk rocker really. I don't have tattoos or anything. But they're asking me if I knew where to find some, and I said, I don't know what you're looking for, but you can, feel free to come on in the club and see if you see anyone, whatever. You can ask them. Shoot, it's HBO. Come on in.
Yeah.
So at the end of the night, they came up to me and they said, okay, do you know any musicians?
You're like,
And I said,
here's my phone contact, sir.
right. I was like, what are you looking for? And he said, well, we got a political band, that's playing tomorrow, but we need a guitar player to be like a backup stand-in for this. She wouldn't even tell me who the band was, but I narrowed it down pretty quick. I was like, is it going to be Rage Against the Machine or something? Because like, how many political bands are still really out there, you know?
With HBO.
And it turned out it was Pussy Riot.
Wow. Okay.
Right.
You heard of Pussy Riot?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they're definitely political.
Right. So yeah, they were in like Russian prison or some shit.
Yeah, they're about that life. They're 100% in.
It was like it was a big deal.
Yeah.
So I show up to be the guitar player for Pussy Riot.
Another band to the resume.
Not something you ever thought you'd ever say.
Right. And then they said, it turns out we need a female guitar player. But thanks for coming in.
Oh.
And I was like, all right, no problem. And they said, well, since you were here already, why don't you throw on this mask and you can be in this next scene. And then if you take off the mask, you could be in another scene.
Well, okay.
And I was like, well, fuck, I'm already here. Why not?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Give me the damn mask.
And they like feed you well and you got paid well. And that was my first starting day. And they were like, well, since you were in this mask and you did this, you could come in and be tomorrow on this, in this other scene. You got to be here at like 6 a.m. or something. And then I showed up on time, and that was for, that was House of Cards.
Love that show.
Great show.
Love that show.
Right. So I ended up doing, 4 seasons of House of Cards.
Damn, wow.
Different episodes. Just being an
Momoa
extra.
who?
Right. I don't remember him being on House of Cards.
Yeah,
and the award-winning
what a scrub.
House of Cards.
Yeah, Momoa's a scrub.
He's the guy. Who the fuck's Aquaman?
Yeah,
Right.
right.
I love House of Cards though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was a good show. And then from there I got in with some people, and I was on Veep, which was another great show.
Yeah.
Crazy how one little thing can snowball
Right
into
place, yeah.
something else.
Right
Another
place, right
political
time.
one too.
Yeah.
You start out on
Right.
GTP and you end up with Chino in your phone.
Right.
Started from the
I
bottom.
mean, we had some funny Chino threads back then. I wish we could pull those up.
Yeah. Yeah. John, we appreciate your time, man. Do you want to drop your socials and where everybody can get all this stuff that you're involved in?
Yeah, I think the easiest these days is getting on the link tree. Got the Scour link tree. It's got links to all of our work, because we're everywhere. Every one of my bands is on the Spotify, and you could find it on YouTube if you have to. But yeah, it's Linktree/Scour Official, I think. And we've got Official Nest, STL. It's one of our tags. You just get on there. You can just Google John Jarvis Metal, and you could
Something to
get on
cover.
the
For anybody,
Encyclopedia
for our
of
laundry
Italian,
services.
Right. You can spend all day going all through all my bands if you want.
It would take all day.
We're joined here by John Jarvis, St. Louis's finest. You're representing us well, brother. We're not technically St. Louis, but we're close enough. Kudos to you for going out there and living the metal like you are. And we appreciate your time today, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, hell yeah. Thank you for being on.
Thanks,
Appreciate you.
All right, brother. Talk to you later, man.
Have a good
Thanks,
band
guys.
practice. Yes, thank you.
Right
for your
on.
time. Yeah. Peace.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Later.